Folks, this is 5.4 continued. Now we're graphing numbers in the complex plane. The complex plane has imaginary values right there, and your x values are right there. So here you're going to think of this as 0, 3. So it'd be right there. Here your x value is 2 and your y value is 4, whereas x2 and I4, that'd be right there. And here x is -4 and y is -3. So x is 4 to the left, 4, and then down 3 for I to be -3. There we go. All right, let's simplify the expressions by writing them as complex numbers in standard form. So here we are adding. So when I add, really I could just drop the parentheses. We're adding the left clump with the right clump. Or maybe just mentally drop the parentheses, don't let the parentheses confuse you. I can combine those two integers to get -2. I can combine these two imaginary numbers to get 10i. So the final answer is -2 plus 10i. Now in this next one, I'm subtracting the two integers. So I'm taking this term, or these terms, minus these terms. This makes everything in the second parentheses negative. So I'm going to change it to a plus sign and add the opposite. So now it's a -2i and a -9i, and I'm showing that it's right next to it so I don't forget. So I'm combining 5 with -2, which is 3, and -8i with -9i, that's -17i. Here I'm distributing, so now I'm multiplying 4 times everything here, so I get 8 plus 4i. How did 2, 3, and 4 look? I think that was right. Let's try the next couple. There's an answer key. Oh yeah, fancy, huh? Next, here we're multiplying these two binomials together. So I get 6, -10i, 9i, -15i. Ooh, let me repeat that. Not repeat that, let me change that. Here I have -15i squared, because I times I is I squared. And I squared is the same as -1. So this is really the same as 15. So this becomes 15. I will combine a positive 15, by the way. Here, let me chop slash this. This is a -15, -15i. Sorry, -15 times -1 is a positive 15, and I just keep bringing down this plus sign. And then here I get -1i, because I can combine -10i with positive 9i. And so then I'm not quite done yet. I can combine 15 with 6, which is 21. So we get 21 minus 1i, or just minus I. How does that look? Oops. 21 minus I looks good. Let me take all this stuff and shrink it down. Oh, now the iCloud's mad at me. My battery is low. Think we're going to make it? I think so. Living on the edge. So here we go. We get 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 2i is 10i. -2i times 5 is -10i. -2i times positive 2i is -4i squared. And again, I'm going to chop slash, and I'm going to recall that I squared is really the same as -1. So this is equivalent to -4, which I can combine with the 25. And here 10i minus 10i combines to 0i, which I don't really need to write down anymore. So really I just have 25 minus 4, which is 21. Let's check that one. Did I goof up somewhere? 21 minus I, and then there was 6. I'm getting 21. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum, bum. Oh yeah, I did, right? Oops, silly goose. I chopped slash here, but I forgot to bring the negative sign down. So -4 times -1 is +4. It's kind of late. Actually, it's not late. I just missed my nap today. On a weekend, I got up early. I never got a chance to nap, but that was just a silly mistake. And then I told you that story. TMI. Okay. So let's change that to a 29. Last one on this page, or this section rather. Let's rewrite this, folks, as 2 plus 5i. What does squared mean? It means take the thing, the base, and multiply itself twice. So it's 2 plus 5i times 2 plus 5i. And now we FOIL. So we get 4 plus 10i plus 10i plus 25i squared. So this becomes 4 plus 10i, and 10i is 20i. And 25i squared is the same as 25 times -1, which is -25. So when we combine this, we combine our integers, so we get 4 minus 25, which is -21, and then bring down your 20i. Let's see if I did that one right. Good. Alrighty, let's keep rolling. So here, we want to simplify this. And to do that, we're going to multiply by the conjugate, which means rewrite this denominator, but instead of writing it with a plus sign, write it with a minus sign, like that. And once you do the bottom of a fraction, you have to do to the top. So on the top, we get 12 minus 18i. On the bottom, we get, honestly, folks, I'm going to work the math on the bottom over here. We get 4 plus -2 times -3i is -6i. And in the middle we get +6i. And then at the end we get -9i squared. Let me chop slash here and not goof this one up. So we get plus -9 times -1, which is a +9. We combine that with our 4, which makes 13. In the middle, folks, we have -6i and +6i. And that becomes 0i, which we don't need to write down. So really, the bottom, or the denominator of this problem now is 4 plus 9, which is 13. So we've simplified this, and there are no imaginary terms in the denominator, which we can't have radicals or imaginaries in the denominator. So we have mission accomplished it, and I cannot simplify this fraction, so we are done. I think that's what I got, right? I think that's a typo. I like my answer better. Let's keep rolling with this. So we're going to multiply by the conjugate, which means rewrite the binomial, but change the sign. So this plus sign goes to a minus sign now. And you'll see that when we FOIL this together, we are going to get rid of the imaginary term in the denominator. We can have an imaginary in the numerator, that's okay, or on top, that's okay, but not on the bottom. So on the top, we get, well, this is going to be more work on the top now. Honestly, when I like to just kind of have more space to write this out. So I'm going to work on the top right here. So when I FOIL, I get -6 minus 3i and then -2i minus I squared. I'm going to chop slash that one right now. So we get negative 6 minus 5i, and then a negative. Remember, I squared is negative 1, so we really have a negative. Negative 1 is a positive 1. So when we combine negative 6 and positive 1, we get negative 5 minus 5i. On the bottom, so that's the top. I'm going to circle that, but I'm not done. In fact, maybe I'll write that over here. Negative 5 minus 5i. On the bottom, we've got negative 2. I'm going to write this out. Makes the distribution maybe a little more clear, less chance of making a mistake. So here we get 4 and positive 2i. Here we get negative 2i and negative I squared. Notice the i's cancel out or become 0i. We don't need to write that down. And the negative I squared is actually positive 1. So we get 4 plus 1, which is 5. So this is a good answer, folks, but notice both of my terms in the numerator are divisible by 5. So we really get negative 5 divided by 5 is negative 1. And then negative 5i divided by 5 is negative 1i, or just negative I. So that should be the best answer. Let's recheck it.